folks. Welcome to another great episode of Short Film Showcase. I'm your host, Mike Messier. On today's episode, we've got some great guests and we've got some great short films. Before we get started with that, I'd like to invite any aspiring filmmakers out there to contact our producer, Bryan Casey, at bcfilms.net. That's Bryan Casey at bcfilms.net. Let Bryan know that you want to have your short film on the Short Film Showcase. Up first, we have episode 4 of 13 Witches by Sabine Modestin. Let's check out 13 Witches by Sabine Modestin right here on the Short Film Showcase.
Yes. Diana? What are you doing here? I thought you had to work.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna get fired. I really need your help.
You really should have called first. It's not a good time right now.
Sheila! Don't keep me waiting anymore.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Just call me tomorrow, okay?
Sheila! Don't start acting like Diana. I don't need another... What was that word you used to call her again?
Yeah, Sheila? What was that word you used to call me when you my husband? What are you doing here?
Oh, don't do that. Don't look so surprised. You knew about the other girls. I know you're looking through my emails every day. She's your friend. Big deal. At least you know I'm in good hands.
Is that all you can say?
Well, you work every day, and when you come home, you're always tired. I'm a man. I have some needs.
I work every day so that the two of us can survive. Don't blame me for being too tired to satisfy your needs. I love you, Stefan. I was even willing to close my eyes on the other girls. But my best friend? Why, Sheila? You were like a sister to me.
It just happened.
Okay, baby, enough. Okay? You're taking this too seriously. I love you. Okay? You know that, don't you? Go home. Let me put on some clothes and I'll come home later.
Don't come home, Stefan. I don't want to see you again. F you, Sheila. I'm not that sweet girl anymore, trust me.
Diana, you're in shock right now.
You're both gonna pay for this.
Yeah, right. What are you gonna do?
Good. Listen, if you're not in a rush, wanna go for a drink?
Sure, I'd love that.
Do you have any idea where you want to go? My name is Steve.
Hi, Steve. Listen, what are you looking
Okay.
What are you doing? Ow!
You will be my slave, and your soul will belong to the devil.
Yes, mistress.
Welcome back to Short Film Showcase. Right now, I'm very happy to have a guest in our studio. He's a filmmaker, and his name is Curtis Parvin. Curtis. Either way, buddy.
Going for the pound. I don't know. I was going for the handshake, but I guess we can go. All right.
Handshake, pound, it's all good.
It all works.
Curtis, what got you started in film? What inspired you to get into the film world?
I went to a liberal arts college, and they didn't offer film as a major. So what happened was I ended up doing film as a minor, and throughout the course of taking those classes, analyzing film and so forth, I found screenwriting.
Yep.
And I was actually very fortunate because I found that the screenwriting class was being taught by someone who had actually been and worked in Hollywood. So they brought him in. He was living in Rhode Island at the time and so forth.
Yep.
And he taught us the fundamentals of basically like the Sid Field method of screenplay, Robert McKee, you know, so writing a Hollywood script. So I graduated college with an English degree and a fully completed Hollywood screenplay that I wrote about. Basically, it was kind of a thriller set in like 1980s Newport, you know,
Okay.
Newport, Rhode Island.
Yes.
So I finished college. I had a full script written Hollywood style, and I'm in Rhode Island, and Los Angeles is, you know, all the way across the U.S.
Right.
So there was some distance there, and there were some connection issues and so forth. So I'm like, what am I going to do? So I had a fully completed script, and through a series of, you know, jobs that I didn't really like, and, you know, relationships that didn't work out, etc.
Sure.
I thought to myself, you know, what am I going to do? So I should just sit down and write, and whatever comes out will come out.
Yeah.
You know, kind of Paul Schrader style, the way that Paul Schrader wrote Taxi Driver. Like,
Okay,
he was
nice.
just kind of drifting and kind of going through uncertain times and, you know, depression, whatever.
Dark
you
night
know?
of the soul. Got
Yeah,
it.
kind of. And basically just to kind of exercise, you know, feelings out on paper through a script.
Sure, therapy.
Exactly. Writing is a form of self-therapy, basically. Not caring who sees it, but just to get it out, to feel a sense of, to get more of a sense of clarity, I guess.
Right.
Clarity in life, clarity, you know, et cetera.
Clarity, closure, all that good
Clarity
stuff.
and closure, yeah, closure is a good one, yeah. So in a sense, I wrote this script, and it was feature length. It was about, you know, 100 pages, 110 pages. And I thought to myself, well, why don't I just make a feature film, you know? I thought, you know, I'll get some friends together. I'll do it like, you know, John Cassavetes style. But there were some problems there with, you know, there were some financial problems. There was some, you know, location issues. I realized essentially making a feature film, taking that responsibility to make a feature film myself, it was a heavy burden.
Sure.
You know,
It's overwhelming when you're first getting started, even when you've been in it for a few years. A feature film is a massive undertaking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I thought it was going to be like, oh, this is going to be really fun. It's going to be super creative. It's going to be very productive. And starting it felt more like Atlas. Like I was carrying the world on my shoulders. So, you know, after doing that for a while and realizing, exhausting all the possibilities of basically, you know, phone calls that weren't returned and things of that nature, I thought to myself, well, taking the advice of someone that I met at the in downtown Providence, actually, is where you hold the acting classes there.
Right, core acting.
The core acting, right?
Yep.
at the Brooklyn Teen Coffee House.
Yeah.
I went to a kind of a networking event there to support the short film critique night.
Right.
And I met a couple different people and kind of just evaluating, different opinions of, my feature film and pitching it and so forth. Someone said, well, why don't you make a short? It'll be easier to get festival exposure and it'll just be kind of more feasible to do right now.
And I think we can give the devil his due. Was that my buddy who gave you that advice?
It was a couple different people. I know you were one of the first people that mentioned it to me, and also there was someone who I believe was doing Karen Iacabo's sound, Malcolm. He suggested it as well.
Okay.
Just on a side note, while we're on the topic of Karen Iacabo, she actually was responsible for getting me my lead actor, so that was kind of a godsend phone call from her. She's great. She's working with her company, Providence Lyceum, and the actor who was in my film was in her film, House of Shadows. His name is Adam Buxbaum.
Yeah, I'll take credit for Adam, because he was in my movie first, but that's okay.
He was, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, he was in Blood Sugar Sedace, and was he also in anything else that you've done, or?
No, Adam Buxbaum is a terrific actor, and just to note him, and it's great that he's worked with all of us, because he's gone to Los Angeles, he's learning the craft, he's plying his trade, and we wish Adam Buxbaum a great deal of good luck.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure he's going to be very successful out in L.A. right now. I know he was just on an episode of The Big Bang Theory, so hopefully we'll see more good stuff from him in the future.
Right. So let's get back to your film. So
sure.
You basically said this feature project is going to be a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
Let me switch gears under the advisement of some others, like Anthony Ambrosino, I think, chimed in.
Absolutely.
That's who I was getting at, the devil. Yeah.
But no. Anthony Ambrosino and Nick Delmenico, the 99 Project. Basically, everyone that kind of is a regular at and also heading different departments and holding different chairs at the Rhode Island Film Collaborative.
Right.
Basically advised me, like, do a short, you'll be able to do it, and it won't be a feature that falls apart.
Yeah, people are looking out for you. They want to see you do well.
Yeah.
And they want to make sure that you get off on the right foot. And a great way to do that is a short film.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
And your short film, Backed by Popular Demand, which we featured a rough cut on a previous episode.
Right.
But that film is pretty solid, and it's about, for those that remember it on a previous episode, it's about a young guy. He's a rock and roll singer.
Yeah.
He's kind of in this space of his own mind.
Basically, the script that was going to be the feature film, the indie film that I wrote, was it took place kind of over like a Thanksgiving week when kids are going to go away for break and things like that. And it dealt with different aspects of the ego. It's about, it deals with a character who is a dropout, but he's very successful as, like, gaining notoriety as an indie film musician. There's a character who is a graduate of the college that was going to be featured in the film, and he's kind of like very shy and introverted. So we have, so he's the guy who has, the confidence issues and hasn't really produced any work. You've got the guy who's super arrogant, the rock star, and who's, being successful. And then you have the guy, Jeff, who is like a filmmaker who's kind of in the middle of these polar opposites, trying to decide, should I be arrogant and get what I want and push people away, or should I be, the quiet guy and keep my work to myself but not get it out there?
And there's a few female characters who are trying to figure out where these guys are coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. There was actually a character that I wrote in the feature that didn't make it into the short, so I hope to make the feature sometime in the near future and put the female characters that were a little more three-dimensional that didn't appear in the short.
Right. So just round out that whole story. So that's
basically
great.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned you went to a liberal arts college, but you didn't say where you went. Where did you go?
I went to Providence College. Okay,
good. And that was a good experience for you?
Yeah, it was, because film wasn't a major. It allowed me to focus on different areas at the time that needed their just due. You know what I mean? Like, the English and history and so forth, and even psychology and sociology, which actually ultimately ended up helping with my screenwriting.
Nice.
Understanding all aspects of the way the brain works and the way people interact with one another, how people live in society. And like I said, a big part of the longer film and the short film is the ego.
Right.
Essentially, more specifically, how the ego is affected through interacting with people. You know what I mean? Like we're talking ego, like the creative ego.
Okay.
When you interact with people, if you get praise for something, how if someone, becomes, arrogant about that.
Right.
Or if someone, gets shot down from a social situation, or, their work is rejected, how they deal with that. You know what I mean? The aspects of the creative ego.
And this reflects on your work, the short film backed by popular demand, and the next one, the feature version of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
In Backed by Popular Demand, we have the character that I mentioned previously from the feature is actually, what we did was we took the feature.
Yeah.
And we kind of just like condensed it and streamlined it. We kind of just like pared it down. We said, okay, what's the most interesting story that we can film right now with people that we can get, the time we have, the materials, the financial means.
Right.
And we just kind of made that into like a 20-page script.
This is a highly intelligent move because a lot of people, myself included, you have this huge idea for a movie, it's in your head, it's playing in your head, and then you want to just go out and do it.
Yeah.
The reality is you need money, you need casting considerations, all types of good stuff.
Right.
So why not do something applicable? Why not make a short film that you can have at your fingertips? And that's what you did, so that's terrific.
So like, I basically kind of followed a cue from someone I admire greatly, John Cassavetes, an independent filmmaker from the the 60s and 70s, and he basically kind of just went out with his friends, and his friends and his wife, people that he knew. He even, I think in Killing of a Chinese Bookie, I think he even put like his producer in an acting role because someone didn't show up. You know? So you got to kind of do stuff like that when you're first, when you're first cutting your teeth in the business,
Well, Curtis, you're off to a great start, and it's just we only have a few seconds left. But before we do that, we know where you're headed, we know where you're at right now. But where are you from? Like in film-wise, when you think about your inspirations, your influences as far as film goes, who would you list as some of your favorite directors, filmmakers, and stuff like that?
The big three that influenced Backed by Popular Demand, I would have to say, would be Martin Scorsese, John Cassavetes, and Vincent Gallo. Scorsese because, in a sense that I just admire his overall career and his style. John Cassavetes in the sense that just pick up a camera, go out with your friends, make a movie, and tell a personal story. That kind of just guerrilla style, run and gun, auteur filmmaking. And Vincent Gallo, just because our movie is very much inspired by a movie called Buffalo 66.
Right.
In a sense where he did reverse stock and everything and didn't use makeup, and it wasn't perfect. It's the kind of movie basically where you go out with a date to someone with you go out on a date with someone to like Denny's, and then ditch them to go to like a gas station and figure out your life by looking in the mirror and analyzing where things are going for you.
Well, so sounds like my last Thursday night. That's great. All right, Curtis. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah.
Love having you here on the Short Film Showcase. We'll see you soon.
Good being here. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Curtis. Right now on the Short Film Showcase, we have a special treat. It's a 2-minute trailer of a great film called Blood Sugar Sid Ace. Hey, I wrote and directed it. Let's check it out.
This is my attempt at a low-budget, character-driven psychological drama. This is my story.
You don't have a story to tell.
This is the cross I bear. These are the things I do.
Of your lies. The lies God speaks through your mouth.
Judge me not.
If I were to die, could you exist?
The Creator is more than his creations.
I am this chosen one. I do the things you do. When they laugh at you, I kill them in my heart.
I lied to tell the truth because no one hears my screams!
There was a time when I thought no one else had thoughts, ideas, dreams.
I am not myself today. Today, I feel like someone else.
You. A waste of my potential. You. A waste of my blood.
I always wanted to be a writer.
Not a writer that wrote for himself.
I wanted to be a writer that wrote for money.
Big money. Hollywood type of money.
We cross out lines in the old rule book, create our own games, and laugh and die at our own jokes. I want to be free.
His was what it was not supposed to be.
Up next on Short Film Showcase is a great short film called The Twain. It's written and produced by Jocelyn Padilla. Let's check it out.
Hello world, this is Franny Mason. Not Fran Drescher and not Fran Kubelik. The one and only Franny Mason. A nobody. Just tiny insignificant dust particles accumulated into the figure you see before you. When you were just a tiny speck of purity, your parents to teachers to aunts to movie stars, they were the gods and goddesses that made up your universe. Your eyes sparkled and your mouth widened at their very presence. They always told you to fight for what you believed in. Good things come to those who wait. Work now, play later. Never give up on your dreams. But they never prepared you in case of an emergency. They never told you what to do in case your dreams decided to give up on you first. I sure as hell was not prepared to be turning 25 tomorrow, still at the same place that I had begun. I was not prepared for failure. So, today we say goodbye. We being Andy and I. We will broadcast live, just moments before committing the ultimate act of bravery.
It's going a little overboard, isn't it? The ultimate act of bravery.
It's raw. It's poetic.
It has bite. What else should we call it then?
We are killing ourselves.
No. I hate that phrase. It lacks class. If I'm going to off myself, I'm going to do it with a little bit of style.
How stylish can death be? Miss Frances Margarita Rose Mason.
Stop calling me that. It's Franny, not Frances. Franny.
The one and only, right? Same.
We shouldn't be fighting, Andy. We're not the problem, remember? It's them.
You see what they've done to us? I'm sorry.
No harm done.
Babe.
I don't want to numb the sensations at all. We are killing ourselves today, but I want it to be made clear here and now that this isn't a cry for help. We aren't weak. We aren't pathetic. We aren't losers. We are strong. We are warriors. We are able to recognize the fact that all is hopeless instead of living a life like we're zombies until we're old and saggy and
wrinkly.
Exactly. We are making the conscious choice to get out of life while we still can. While we're still beautiful. While everything is still in place. Can you all honestly look inside of yourselves and say that you're 100% happy with your lives? Or can you just be courageous and say, F it, and go, no.
Oh, no.
What's wrong with you?
We are not going the pill route, are we?
Remember, on April 24th, you agreed via chat that we'd be doing it by pills. I have the conversation saved as proof.
I have never taken a pill in my entire life, and I don't intend to start now.
You could have chosen a better time to tell me about this, Andy. Look, we could take a handful of pills with champagne and die together fast, nice and clean, the way it was meant to be.
Yeah. What if I get stomach cramps? What if I throw up? I hate throwing up.
How else are we going to do this then?
Look what I got.
Over my dead body. Who the hell is that?
Oh, well, while you're on one of your online rants, I ordered pizza and pop.
Are you insane? What if those are undercover cops?
Relax. No one cares about us anyway.
Get it myself.
Hello.
Hi, how much will it be?
Free. We already took care of it for you.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's not friend Drescher, and it's not friend Kublak.
It's the one and only Franny Mason.
Wow, you're even hotter in person.
We are fans of your blog.
She is hot looking.
You are?
Yeah.
Yes. We read on your blog what you and your young gentleman friend plan on doing today. And, this is the least we can do.
Thank you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a killer idea. You know, it's amazing deciding how you live and when you're gonna die. I mean, it's a brilliant idea. It takes balls. You have real balls, don't you?
I guess.
What we're trying to say is, can we join you? We would be there for moral support.
Excuse me?
We want to watch.
We'd be honored.
Yeah, we want to watch. Where you going?
We even made dessert for the occasion.
Thank you, goodbye.
Hey, pizza. The Grammys on tonight?
That was over a month ago. And even if it were airing tonight, what the hell do we care?
Yeah, you're right.
It's funny. Today was the first time I ever heard anybody tell me they were a fan of my work. Complete strangers, no less.
You having second thoughts?
Never.
This world doesn't deserve us. I can't take it anymore. Record our messages now?
I guess so. Dear Mother and dear Father, thank you for setting me up so high only to make me crash very hard. If it wasn't for your constant loving, constant affection, constant words of encouragement, just disgusting, I'd have been a writer, a true artist. Bestsellers, screenplay options. I've never experienced anything negative ever. If you had just hit me or something when I was being naughty instead of just buying me presents after presents, even when I didn't want them, I'd have been an artist. Because true artists suffer. Generations upon generations of success and good fortune has been bestowed upon our family line. until I was born. Where are you both now? Vacationing in some rich resort while your daughter waits here to die? I hate you both. This is the first time I'm taking life into my own hands. And I'm laughing in your faces. I hope you choke on your escargot, Father. And Mom, I hope Mina Lopez poisons your cocktail. Oh, and by the way, Daddy dearest, Mommy is boinking the gardener. Goodbye.
Who is Mina Lopez?
The maid. The gardener's wife.
Hey. Abby. What am I gonna say?
Say anything, whatever comes to your mind. Doesn't really matter at this point.
Abby. I don't hate you, but I don't like you either.
Jesus Christ. She left you on your birthday. Get angry. Just get something.
I do hate you. You left me broken and bruised. You my agent, damn it.
You tell her.
I hope you... Come
on.
I hope you enjoy contracting genital herpes. Didn't see that coming, did you?
No.
That's right, Abby. David's got herpes. Farewell, cold sore Abby.
I love you.
I love you too.
How are we gonna do this then? You know, who's gonna shoot who?
I'll shoot you, and then I'll shoot myself.
It all seems so barbaric to me. What about this? What about carbon monoxide poisoning in your car? The worst we'd feel is a migraine.
There's no gas in the car.
I have an idea. What about drowning in the tub, wrapped in each other's arms?
Stand-up shower.
Look, you really don't want to take the pills.
I told you before, no goddamn pills.
I wanted this beautiful. You want to make it so messy and overdramatic. You are such an actor, and a shit one at that.
You can take that back right now.
Too afraid to take a handful of measly pills?
You think I'm gonna chicken out, don't you? You think I'm gonna shoot you and then run off? That's what you think, right?
You said it yourself, Andy. Not me. But come to think of it, you are a
You know what? You. You, that's it. It all ends tonight, okay? It all ends tonight.
Fucking blessed be then. It all ends tonight.
Baby, don't cry. Don't cry.
I look like a hot mess, don't I?
Oh, you're beautiful. One of the most beautiful creatures this world has known.
I want to go to the bathroom and fix myself up a little bit. I came into this world a mess, and I don't intend to leave it a mess.
Okay.
Want to know something? best thing that ever came to me in this life is you.
You make this world a beautiful place. You shine and you always will.
On my mind, a lot of stuff I've been going through. You want to lend me a hand? If I don't know what's wrong, how on earth could you? So here I stay until I can find answer to questions on my mind. Why can't I just live one day and never let nobody worry me? It's getting harder as days go by, watching everyone leaving me. Will it take a miracle to find a natural sanity? I'm checking out. Checking out, checking out, checking out. I don't know which turn I took was wrong. It really wouldn't matter anyway. I've never been good at telling lies. Always planning my quick.
That was The Twain, directed by Skip Shea and written and produced by Jocelyn Padilla. Well, we have a very special guest right here in our studio. It's Jocelyn Padilla, the writer and producer of The Twain. And Jocelyn, you're here and you brought two special guests with you.
How you doing?
Hi.
Well, we have some lovely, beautiful, talented actresses here with us. We have on my right, Sissy Hara.
That would be Sissy.
Sissy O'Hara, yeah.
She actually played one of the hippies inside The Twain.
That's right. That was a great job, Sissy.
Thank you. Years of experience.
Great.
Along with David Graziano. And on my left, I have a brand new actress here in New England. Her name is Lindsey Elizabeth Cooke.
That's right. Hi, Lindsey. How are you?
I'm awesome.
Great.
How are you?
And Jocelyn. Oh,
I
stretch.
can't reach.
And Lindsey,
Right
Sissy,
back at you.
Pam, right there. That's great. It's great to have three wonderful ladies on the show. This is a real treat for us. And, you know, just talking about women in film. We saw Catherine Bigelow win the Oscar for Best Picture with The Hurt Locker several years ago. Interestingly enough, she beat out Avatar, which was directed by James Cameron, her ex-husband. Kind of a funny side story. But women are coming so far in film, and you guys are stepping into those footsteps and doing great things with The Twain and with your next work. How do you feel? Just, you know, is being a female filmmaker, is that special to you? Is that part of the importance to you?
For me, as an actress, I thought it was really important to delve into other parts of filmmaking. I want to try to experience everything, see what I like most, because I primarily am an actress, and what I want to pursue is acting. But I wanted to get into writing, get into some directing, producing, and I actually really can't choose what's my favorite. I love being in front of the camera and behind the camera, and I think it is important. You really don't hear that many female directors out there. You really don't hear any female producers, and if they are, they're kind of just hidden in the back, you know? And I feel like, for me, just as an overall artist, I'm very curious, and I just have to get into everything and see what I like. So I think it is important for females to get out there and share their voice, and, you know, I think for Sissy over here. I mean, for acting, you got into acting almost a year ago, since yesterday.
Actually, 1 year today, if you go by the calendar.
1 year ago today. How did you get started in acting, Sissy?
I went to the Brooklyn Coffee and Tea House, sat next to a gentleman, and it was a 25-year reunion of a band that I used to follow in Providence.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the Bandwagon 25th anniversary. Sat next to a young man by the name of Thomas Broadbent.
Yep.
He asked me if I acted. I said, yes, I did. Several days later, I walked on to your show's producer, Bryan Casey's Paying Your Debts film.
Right.
And I've just been extremely blessed ever since.
Well, it's great to have you in the community, Sissy, and you're such a warm and loving person to everyone you work with. It's great to have you here.
Well, thank you.
And congratulations on your 1 year anniversary of acting.
Thanks.
That's tremendous.
I have also earned a SAG credit.
Oh, that's great.
Under 1 year also.
That's terrific. So you got to feel good about that.
I feel wonderful about everything I've done, the people I've met, the experience, the learning. It's the love of my life. I had been very, very sick on the couch for 7 years. Decided that I was going to do something with my life, which brought me to the Brooklyn Coffee and Tea House because of my love of films.
Yeah.
And since then, it has helped me in so many ways tremendously, made a huge difference in my life.
That's great to be. It's great to hear your story. And you mentioned the Brooklyn Coffee and Tea House is a local film showcase we have every Thursday, the first Thursday of every month, right there at 209 Douglas Avenue. Brooklyn Coffee and Tea House, and you guys have come to that a few times. It's always good to have you. Lindsey, how did you get involved with film, and now you're starting off as an actress? That's tremendous.
I've been pursuing film since I was 18, and when I was 21, I moved to Arizona, and I thought, hey, I'm closer to California, I'll find work. No.
Right.
All that's out there, a lot of films that don't go anywhere, and usually it's all sexual. Nobody really wants to take it seriously. So I moved to Rhode Island here in July, and I'm just pursuing a serious thing. Like, I just want to be an actress for a living. It's all I've ever wanted to do. And right now I'm working on, I just finished a script that I've been working for almost 7 years on.
Wow. What's that script called?
Amor Sangre.
No, and that translates to?
Bloodlust.
Wow.
Is English. But the whole movie is in English. The title, I just decided, it just flowed better than Bloodlust.
And this is going to go into production next year?
Oh, yeah. Sometime in January we're going to be doing it. Lindsey actually is starting her own film company called Sparkle Productions.
Yep.
And we're both kind of collaborating with different scripts throughout the year. We have about 5 other scripts we're writing right now. And for her, she's been wanting to pursue this forever, and now she's getting the opportunity to do it here. And yeah, Amor Sangre is about 3 vampires. It's a comedy. 2 vampires and a prostitute.
Wow.
And it's a comedy, so she can get into that later on, but it's great that you're getting your first script, right?
I'm so freaking excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, if you need a Wolfman, let me know.
Maybe for another film.
All right, well, I'll audition. So now, let's just go back to the twain, because the audience just saw that here on the show. And you really took this by the jugular, so to speak. You really went for it, and you produced it, you wrote it, you starred in it. And how do you feel about it now that it's done?
It's an amazing feeling to see that I finally was able to take something and create it, as opposed to how I was all my life, where I was like, oh, things are going to come to me. I'll wait for it to happen, kind of just procrastinating my career for a while.
Right.
And I sort of just said, hey, I've done, a full year of films for other people, that I did some wonderful, amazing things, but I've learned as much as I can about filmmaking in a year. So I said, hey, let me do something on my own, and it proved to be really successful. I mean, I had some really great actors, and everything just seemed to flow. I mean, I wrote that in a day, so it just came to me really quickly. And it's about 2 failed artists. One's a musician, one is a writer, actually. And they pretty much got to a certain point in their life where nothing's really going on for them, and they decide to kill themselves in front of everyone, like on a YouTube channel.
Right. Yeah, we just saw that in the film, and it's just so, it's timely, because nowadays with instant exposure, instant stardom, and like a Kurt Cobain, when I saw the movie at the short film showcase at the Brooklyn Coffee and Tea House on the first Thursday of last month, I made a comment that it was reminding me of a Kurt Cobain, Courtney Love type of deal. Very dramatic, very intense in the head. Yeah. Yeah,
like I told you when we saw it at the Brooklyn, that I wrote it because there's a lot of artists that are very depressed, that we're really emotional creatures, and
when things don't seem to go right, we kind of get into that depressed state of mind where we just kind of want to just end it.
Right.
But then the next day, you feel better, and that's kind of, Franny was a little bit like me, in the sense that she just felt like she had nothing going for her. And it's kind of a little biographical kind of thing about myself. I mean, but I've always said that suicide is a permanent solution for a temporary problem.
Right.
So I think that if people were to see this at the end, as they saw, they decide to choose life instead of death.
Good for
and no
you.
matter how bad it gets, you always keep going on. You always survive.
And I honor the fact that you are able to take this hardcore issue of depression and be so open and honest about it, with the audience, with our audience, and say, hey, this is a real deal. And everybody can relate to it. Almost everybody can relate to depression, feeling bad about themselves, having suicidal thoughts. These are real issues, and you took them on very courageously in the film. So kudos to you for that. Yeah. Now let's talk about your next project. We've got several next projects.
Yeah.
But there is one that's very special to you, all three of you, which is titled
I Am Monroe.
Let's talk about it.
Well, I just started writing this a few months ago. It's, about Marilyn Monroe and what happens to her after death.
Right.
Essentially, her character goes through different kind of life lessons. She watches her past in a mirror, and my character is woman in the womb, so my character will become Marilyn Monroe's soul's new incarnated body.
Right.
So what happens at the beginning of the film, it opens up with woman in the womb in this white room, which represents the womb.
Yep.
And Sissy O'Hara is playing Lane, which is her spirit guide. She's assigned to Monroe's soul to ensure that she learns all her lessons, take responsibility for your past, not blaming others. And if she passes, she will be reborn. If she doesn't, this character comes along, Red Death, paints the room red, which represents miscarriage.
Oh, boy.
Miscarriage.
Yes.
And then she becomes one of the Red Death's crew
Then
members.
her soul belongs to me.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is, from the get-go of this piece, I Am Monroe, it's literally life or death or lack of existence type of deal.
Exactly.
So the stakes are raised.
If she does not pass, the room turns red, and she will become one of Red Death's demon angels. And the thing is, with that, what I like about this film is that it's taking realistic historic facts and mixing fantasy together.
And
so essentially what happens is every single time I look through the mirror, I see things of Monroe's past, and I have to deal with forgiveness, taking responsibility for what I put out there in the universe. And there's scenes with Joe DiMaggio, scenes with Arthur Miller, scenes with Gladys Baker, which was Marilyn Monroe's mother.
Yep.
And I also want to say that the person who's going to be playing Marilyn Monroe is not here today with us. She's a New York-based actress, and her name is Andrea Kinch.
Okay.
She's really taking on a really challenging role. This is her first movie she's ever done, and she's taking on one of the most challenging roles you can imagine. I mean, to play Marilyn Monroe right, it hasn't really been, I haven't seen any movie that plays her right.
You haven't been impressed by some of the previous...
No.
Not at
all. Okay.
No, I'm just agreeing. It's like terrible.
I think that it's important to mention the aspect of this movie, too, is the depth of, life after death, that whole concept, what we possibly can go through, what we need to learn. And I think that's a very important part of that script.
That's great, because you are taking, I agree, Sissy, because you're taking on a very spiritual, cosmic sort of take on this.
This is what I personally believe what happens to us after we die.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Everyone has their different opinions on what happens.
Right.
And this is just mine. I just want to show that I feel like everyone does reincarnate, but in order for you to go into your future, you have to learn your past, and you have to come to terms with the demons of your past,
And what research have you done? Because you just naming the characters, Joe DiMaggio and the women characters, her mother and so forth, you're obviously very well versed in the Marilyn Monroe story. Was there a book that you read? Or?
I mean, I've loved classic movies since I was about 13 years old, and the first movie I ever did see was a Marilyn Monroe movie.
Yeah.
So I've always, I'm really well versed in her stuff. I mean, I've read every single biographical book that's ever existed.
Yep.
But also, too, as oddly as will sound, but I feel very connected to her in some other way that I can't explain, and that's why I had to write it.
That's terrific.
I don't know why. I feel like a lot of her personality, a lot of things that she had gone through, I've gone through in this life. So it's kind of You never know if is she alive? Is she still kind of in the plains? Where is she?
Sure.
You know,
Well,
so
you feel that
I
connection.
Really oddly connected since I was 13. I don't know why.
And what I like about it, like you said, you're generating your own project, which is something I talk about with my acting class. You know, if you have something in your soul, your spirit that you want to get out there, it's up to you, and what you're doing is doing it. That's fantastic.
You have to take charge, you know.
That's right. And on behalf of myself and Bryan Casey, my producer here on the Short Film Showcase, we want to present to you, if you can pass that over to Jocelyn, a little token of our well wishes, our good lucks, our go-get-ems, a little token from us, from Marilyn Monroe to you. So you can hold that up.
Great.
Maybe hold that up and
That
then
is so
we'll take a shot.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Oh,
It's
you're
a beautiful
welcome.
photo of her too.
In case they didn't pick it up on the camera, it's a little picture of Marilyn Monroe.
And it's a butterfly, which actually I have a lot of imagery of butterflies in this script.
Oh, that's great.
Which is awesome.
That's great. Well,
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome.
Being old enough to have been alive and remember the day that Marilyn died, I have to say that it's right up there with John F. Kennedy and like being embedded, emotional days of our lives. You know, not September 11th, of course. I mean, that was just so incredibly. But it's one of those days that I'll never forget and remember how I felt in the car driving to the beach with my parents that day. And I remember the moment as clear as it was yesterday.
How old was Marilyn when she passed away? She was in
36.
her 36. Wow. That's...
She only had about a 10-year career.
Wow.
She started around 26 and died at 36. It's crazy.
She was and always will be America's sweetheart.
Yeah. Yeah, she brought so much joy and humor and sex appeal and sensuality and everything.
And I'm kind of doing her a little bit more justice. I'm showing more of her human side than every other film I've ever seen is showcases her either in a really negative light or a really vulnerable side. She had her bad days. She had her good days. She wasn't 100% bad. She wasn't 100% good. I want to really show the real story of her, but you know.
Humanizing her.
You have
rather
to.
than making her like a victim or an antagonist.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, ladies, we're reaching the end of this interview. It's just flown by with the three of you. It's been great. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about here on the?
Well, a little birdie told us it was your birthday tomorrow.
Oh, wow, yes.
So with this gift, we have a gift for you.
Oh, what's that, Lindsey?
Well, ready, ladies?
We're ready.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Michael. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, that's best gift I'll get all year.
Can I have one more? Can I do one more thing?
Go ahead.
If you guys are interested in donating time in Monroe, doing any product placement, utilizing one of your locations for publicity of your business, please contact me at Jocelyn Padilla 1986@gmail.com. Again, that is Jocelyn Padilla 1986@gmail.com.
Okay.
Thank you.
Also, you are still interviewing for directors.
Yes.
Okay, so looking for a director for I Am Monroe. Well, that looks like a great position. So maybe some of us in the studio will be looking to do that. I want to thank you three very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jocelyn,
Thank
Lindsey,
you.
and Sissy. Thank you so much for being here on the Short
Pleasure
Film
is all
Showcase.
us.
Thank you, and thanks for the birthday wishes. Thank you for watching another great episode of Short Film Showcase. We had some great in-studio guests, and we had some great short films on this episode. Remember, if you'd like your short film to be on the Short Film Showcase, please contact our producer, Bryan Casey, at bcfilms.net. That's Bryan Casey at bcfilms.net to have your short film on the Short Film Showcase. And hey, one little message to all those aspiring filmmakers out there. If you can dream it, shoot it. I'm Mike Messier for the Short Film Showcase.